Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome to my fashion bunker. Today is a channel talk time. So, drinks, coffees, teas, Coca-Colas, whatever you want, what have you, what want you. Some people want to smoke a joint while they listen. Other people just, they want to do anything. Just like linger on. So here we go. Several topics to discuss today. First of all, I'm not so sure anymore. Oh, my back is itching. Am I fifth or sixth week into my low carb diet? Oh, my back. Yes, and the urgens, the chocolate cravings are gone. Like literally the withdrawal was a mess. Now it's all good. I'm not craving any of that shebang. And she is a thinning for the gods. No, I'm not. I'm just trying to keep it a bit more healthy. And I have a lot more energy now since I'm off the weird sugar. Mind you, I'm not doing Atkins. I'm not doing any particular diet. I'm just really cautious. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. I do get my sugars through that, and I'm really enjoying life because the food is good. I like to eat grapes. They're very sweet. I don't do bananas that much. Those are a bit heavy. And mind you, after all of these weeks of not eating chocolates and stuff and no sweets, a banana tastes like a Snickers. It's so intense. And I love that olfactory kind of transformation, like that everything I taste now tastes more intense. So that's been amazing. Some of you have been asking me, what am I eating? Well, I mean, it's like either like Parmigiana, like, just zucchini with a little bit of tomato sauce, like self-made with no sugars added, of course. Aubergines on top of that with some cheese, or as I said before, grapes, Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts. You kind of put lemon on top of them and a bit of, I love pumpkin seed oil and salt. Then salad, a lot of salad. I love feta cheese. So I would eat salad with that. A lot of tomatoes. Now I'm getting hungry. Meat, I eat meat, not too much of it, mostly chicken breast. It's easy to digest and it's not so, intense. I don't really like the smell when you cook stuff, when you cook the meat, it just like the whole, I don't like the smell of meat when it's cooked, and kind of chicken is the only meat that kind of doesn't have a smell. I eat fish as well, even though, everybody says it's toxic. So like tuna fish is probably radiated and, well, as long as I don't have that full tuna, which would be ginormous, with like 4 or 5 eyes, which would prove that it's radioactive, like in The Simpsons. I just like to see it in little chunks of meat and it kind of looks okay. And I hope it's not overly stuffed with lead or metals or whatever it is. But anyway, so yeah, dieting is doing very well. I'm seeing the results, and yes, that makes me very happy. On another note, the hair is doing well too. The blondification. Lanier, my dear. Now, I just watched. So by now that I'm filming this, I just saw your Pour Monsieur Eau de Parfum review, and we've been talking about this on your channel, and I just sprayed it here. I'm like testing out. My hands are full of perfumes. I have the eau de toilette still, and I have the concentré, and I'm shocked, that like the eau de parfum is actually not the eau concentré anymore. So I will definitely check that out. And I'm so curious to all the transformations that have happened with this perfume throughout the decades. I personally miss the times when this perfume had its little paper inside the box, the Chanel paper that said, please, consider that every one of the liquids you purchase is going to have a different color because the ingredients we used, they might be growing in different circumstances. So the flowers this season might be different than last season, blah, blah, blah. I love that. And if you actually move this liquid against the light, I see little particles of something in there, which is always a good sign. Anyway, loving it. Let's just respray. This is turning into a perfume review now. I already did the review of Pour Monsieur, so you can check that out, guys, if you want to. And check out Lanier's website, I wanted to say. YouTube channel, best perfumer in the world, and a real gentleman. And they are, You can't find them anymore nowadays. It's a species that is extinct or almost extinct. Now let's see what y'all guys got to say. Inge Heumark, hello sweetie, how you doing? You want to know now what is going on with your bag at Chanel? For those of you who don't know, I have a Chanel bag that was flawed. It was a production flaw, not something that I damaged, and I brought it back to Chanel. They tried to repair it twice. They managed to make it even worse than it was before. Long story short, finally they sent it off after a second tryout and said, okay, let's work on giving you a voucher. Well, that has happened before Easter, and now it's been almost 5 weeks that I have not heard anything from Chanel. So I did not get my money back. I did not get a voucher. I'm waiting like you guys are waiting. As soon as I know more, I'll make a specific video on the subject. The only thing I can say is that the essay that I'm working with wrote me and said, hey, Dacob, just so you know, we haven't forgotten you. We're still working on it. I'm like, well, what good does that do me? Why does it take so much time to just decide? And not even to decide. It's so fucking obvious. Like, at this point, what should I do? You know, just get a lawyer and discuss issues like give me my money back. Plus, don't forget, they got the money and they got the bag. So that's the answer. There no news, unfortunately. Zenzord. You're a fashion Jedi. Well, thank you, Zenzord. May the fashion bunker be with you. Moving on. Daniel Hammond. How you doing, Daniel, sweetie? That is all too terribly true on my, I guess, Broken Equals Luxury, I think, video. Currently, I'm saving to buy a Louis Vuitton to use for travel, passport documents, insurance cards, etc. It would be perfect for that purpose. Much better than a Chanel wallet on chain because the inserts can be removed and the chain is detachable, so I can use a leather strap instead. But I am now having second thoughts. I am not overly rich and I have to go without to buy this item. Is it worth the financial cost? You see, as I have minimal experience with luxury, I might miss a flaw when I examine it in the shop. If I find a flaw a week after purchase, and this could well happen, it will be a real struggle for me to get justice from Louis Vuitton. Is the bag worth what I will go through? I am not so sure. I am hearing so many horror stories. The honest truth is that I receive better service from the mid to lower stores that I frequent than the luxury YouTubers are reporting about from the top end of town. Thank you for the video. Well, dear Daniel, I mean, YouTubers, it's a totally different story. Like YouTubers unboxing stuff, you know, I've heard also stories about people just purchasing something to unbox it and then bring it back to grow their fame. So that's kind of really lame. And then there's also those people that just for the sake of being fabulous in front of the camera would unbox a piece of shit and say it's amazing just because they want to appeal to you guys. Well, that ain't the case here. If I ain't liking it, I'm going to be saying it and I'm going to be bringing the shit back. Now, as far as your concerns are, for Louis Vuitton, I've had really good experience in the stores, in the Louis Vuitton. So granted, I'm not a person that buys a lot of Louis Vuitton, and I'm not the type of person who buys Louis Vuitton bags. I've had that months back. Some of you might remember, I was considering to buy the Alma in the Murakami print while it was still available, but then at the end, I didn't go for it. And because I love their travel items, you know. And as you said, in this case, if you want something travel-ish for your travels, yes, get Louis Vuitton. In my personal opinion, that's what the house is famous for. They started off as this travel company, whatever, producing, you know, suitcases and stuff. So I buy the little pouches, the little bags, the little poche toilettes, the little poche documents, you know, all that stuff because that's really practical to me. And I really use that stuff every day. It's in my bag. I have the little 15. It's my favorite one of all. Not the 26, not the 19, the 15, the poche toilette 15. A lot of people say, why spend so much money on a little thing like that? You're never going to use it. That's the Louis Vuitton piece, bag, pouch, whatever, that I use the most. And then, of course, I use my agenda. Oh, no, and the zippy compact, but that's a wallet. That's a different thing. So I would say go for it because, I mean, don't forget, it's like a canvasy material. Maybe there's some leather in there as well. Louis Vuitton is definitely way more prone to accept flaws. What does this mean? They don't accept, they have quality control. But if there's something broken, if there's something damaged, usually it's no questions asked. They just take it back and give you a new one or repair it or whatever. So And I don't know what country you're in right now, but I mean, in the States, there's a markup because all that shebang is imported, so it costs even more. So even more reason to be very picky about what you buy. And you should be picky about what you buy, you know? Be very, very picky about what you buy and get what you want. And if the thing doesn't have the right, stitching, then say, sorry, I don't like the stitching. You're telling me the stitching is good that way? Fine. I don't like it. My eyeballs are not liking it. I cannot stand it. I'm going to have to be looking at this stitch that you call okay for the rest of my days as long as this thing is... No, I don't want to do that. So be honest to yourself and also to the essays or whoever's working with you and say, look, I'm really picky. Sometimes I say that when I begin my shopping spree. I'm saying, guys, I apologize in the beginning. I might be a pain in the butt, but I just love heritage and I love quality. And don't take this personally, but I will be just judging to a minimum detail everything that I'm seeing here, just because I love beautiful things and I love when I feel that they are made with a lot of love. There are certain flaws that belong to that love, but others are unacceptable. So there you have it. Now, I have problems with this name. It's either Ililibart or Lilibart. I would say it's a Ililibart. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. You are completely right. Again, on the defect equals flaw. I think throwaway fashion and rabid consumerism have infected the luxury market like a disease. In as such that for the very rich, the 2,000-pound handbag has become their equivalent of an average handbag for the rest of us. The boredom set in for them just as for everybody else. They want the latest Chanel handbag. They want the latest Chanel, but it's a meaningless purchase, and they don't see it as a treasured item. They will discard it in the same way somebody will discard an H&M handbag. And go on to the next one and the next one. They don't really care about some flaw anymore. And the luxury brands are exploiting this. The people who appreciate fashion design as an art form are just a side casualty for the big labels. They want to sell in large quantities. As you said before, it's more and more about making huge profits for the shareholders. As an example, there used to be 2 main collections a year, and there's now, in some cases, as much as 6. Pre-fall, fall, winter, pre-spring, summer, cruise collections. Where does it end? Even the designs are now disposable. Why do so many move on after 2 or 3 seasons? The majority... Oh, sorry, not the designs. Rewind, Dacob. Even the designers are now disposable. Why do so many move on after 2 or 3 seasons? The majority just can't keep up and generate enough ideas to feed the beast. Creativity should be treasured, but it's becoming a victim of our greed for the newest, the latest fad. This season, It Bag, and no offense to you or any other YouTubers, but the craze for unboxings of luxury goods is not helping our cause. It's feeding the beast. I myself am not immune. I admired Miuccia Prada, but for years her designs were things to aspire to, and that I could not afford. I bought pre-loved vintage pieces, and I was realistic about it. 4 years ago, I came into a small windfall and set aside enough to buy a new Miu Miu handbag in the Paris boutique. The bag was gorgeous, with no apparent flaws. However, within 2 weeks of getting back to my hometown with my new bag, the sealing shiny coating on the handles started to peel away like dead skin, and within a couple of months the whole handles coating had come off, and the leather was cracking. I then discovered the bag was not made in Italy, but in Turkey. Not what you expect from a 1,300-pound handbag. Since then, I've gone back to buying vintage, and for handbags, I have switched my allegiance to a lesser-known historic French brand which has been manufacturing its leather goods in its factory in southwest France for over a century. They haven't got the clout of the more famous brands, but the manufacturing and finish is superb, and their costs. They are costed realistically for this quality. Dear Lilibart, or Ilibart, wonderful, wonderful comment. I couldn't have put it better myself. I have to tell you, everything you said, it's correct, and I agree with you. Everything has become disposable. Everything is really quick, quick, quick. Now, I've been noticing this the other day when I was unboxing another a pair of sunglasses that I bought online secondhand. I collect sunglasses, and I have this obsession with Chanel sunglasses, boutique exclusives, especially because there's more attention to detail that goes into those and more experimentation that goes into them. And I'm noticing, I was just talking to a friend the other day, to buy vintage Chanel sunglasses from the 80s and 90s, it's hard to get them in a good condition, in good state. To find a pair of boutique exclusive Chanel sunglasses even from 2009, let's say 2009, and that would be, 7 years ago. That's already old. But they're usually in pristine condition. So I was asking myself, why does this happen? Well, I think this is the reason that you state in your comment. Everything has become so disposable and quick, and there's so much of it produced. So back in the day, when a person would purchase, mind you, in the 80s and early 90s, Chanel sunglasses were only purchasable within Chanel boutiques. You really needed to want those Chanel sunglasses, and you would get them, and they would produce the same model several seasons, and then you would be using that model and wearing it. You would be wearing the shit out of that model until it's really yours. Nowadays, I purchase secondhand sunglasses that are in pristine condition because somebody just bought them, maybe even 9 years ago, wore them twice. Oh, darn, now there's a new model out already. Oh, I want to buy the newest one, the one I just got. Nah. And moving on. Great for me because I still believe in the value of a design. So, as Oscar Wilde said in the past, today we know the price of everything, but the value of nothing. We don't know the value of nothing. We have become so devoured by ourselves from our own consumer obsessions that we have lost connection to the real values of things. Now, granted, I am a materialist and I love design and I love beautiful objects, so I'm not immune to this, but at least I treasure something for what it truly is. Your trash might be my treasure. So something you have worn only once or twice and you want to give away, I'll buy it off you if I love the piece, and I'll love it for the rest of my life. There is no, I want to save things from this craziness. I want to save these beautiful objects, or the ones that I consider beautiful, from being forgotten, never used again, never shown again. So I'm really happy to show to you guys my unboxings of these heritage pieces that I find from the past, because I think if I share this information with you guys, these pieces will live on forever. Or as long as YouTube is going to go. I mean, who knows? You know what I mean? Like, YouTube, how long is YouTube going to exist? Technology is advancing so quickly. In another 10 to 20 years, maybe this video won't exist anymore because YouTube won't exist anymore. It's going to be some other platform. And I don't know if I'm going to have the nerve, guts, if I'm still going to be even alive, to transfer the thousands of videos that I'll have by then onto another platform. Maybe it's going to become really easy and it's going to happen just automatically. I don't think so, though. But anyway, as long as we are alive and as long as we do have this platform to communicate with one another, I do love to share my love for the heritage, for the classicism of certain brands, and for their quality, and for the love that goes into designing certain pieces. That's what I'm about. The other YouTubers you mentioned here, that's a different species of human being altogether. That's a type of person who would unbox something just for the sake of saying, I can afford this, I'm unboxing it, even though, as I said before, they might return it the next day. They just needed it for the unboxing. But if I unbox something, it's because I love it. And it's because I want to share the information I know about this piece with you guys. Mian Zeng. I like how far and fast imagination can go. Time travel to 2076, 60 years from here today, on red carpet of Oscars. We are watching and inspired by people who can afford to be sick, and whose idea of luxury being as affordability to overlook flaws implanted, and well accepted 60 years ago. If this vibe is generated by sickly rich and famous and so-called trend creators, the idea we see now as sick may not be by then. As the world is evolving, shrug my shoulders. Yes, the world is evolving, and the idea that we have of sick today might not be the idea of sick tomorrow. In fact, the idea of sick today becomes luxury tomorrow. Sick, isn't it? Lanier Smith, my dear, how you doing again? We're beginning with Lanier and ending with Lanier. Really interesting and thought-provoking, again, on the luxury as a defect. In fact, a fascinating topic. I went over my little Chanel key pouch with a fine-tooth comb, and you better believe that if it was not perfect, I would have said something. In the nicest way, of course. I worked hard and took a lot of baloney from some bitchy self-entitled designers to make the money that bought that key pouch. So I am with you on insisting on perfection from our luxury houses. As to the ending of your talk, I think, Dacob, that the future is now. How many stars are wearing anorexia nervosa with that Armani cocktail dress, or bulimia under that Balenciaga ball gown on the red carpet today? That is actually, I'm shocked. When I read the comment, I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, Lanier is right. The future is now. I was stating, the syphilis and the tuberculosis and the HIV and gonorrheas. Well, gonorrhea is curable actually, but other diseases, Ebola, all that stuff in the future. But actually, it's now. These diseases, they're wearing them now on the carpet. Those poor girls, especially the ones it's usually the women. Some men also starve themselves to fit a certain role. But this bulimia and all of this anorexia, that is exactly the disease of today. The rich and the famous being like, hey, I can afford to have the leeches put on my stomach to suck out the blood out of me, to have the liposuction, to have the right coaches that are going to drill into my head that I'm not supposed to eat, I'm going to trick myself into drinking maybe more water and feeling full rather than actually eating. Now, I know this is controversial because I did begin my video by saying that I am on a diet. But I'm not on a diet to become anorexic. I'm on a diet just to feel a bit more light, to be able to move with more ease and be more flexible in certain instances of my everyday life. Totally different topic again. But Lanier, you're so right. The future is now. We're so close to that brink of everything falling apart that it's crazy. Sometimes I ask myself, how can we even hold things together? We are all hanging by a loose thread, And it's just sometimes shocking to me to observe society, like when I try to kind of step aside away and observe it from a distance and be like, how is this? Wow. It's kind of a miracle if you think about it, that things are still holding together, that we're still kind of living, everything is still moving on, I just finished watching a short TV series with James Franco, forgot the name of it, about the assassination of Kennedy. And so James Franco travels back into time and he's supposed to stop the assassin. So he's supposed to stop Kennedy's assassination from happening. And then the whole world is going to be a better place. Well, guess what happened? Spoiler alert. If you don't want to know, stop here. Otherwise, listen. So he manages the whole freaking series is about him traveling 2 years prior to the assassination. And he manages to stop it and everything. Then he goes back into the future again. And the world is a mess. It's worse than it would have ever been in his imagination. Then what happens? He goes all the way back again to rechange time, to reset it all, because apparently by not killing Kennedy, horrible things happen. It's like the apocalypse or something like that happens. So he goes back again into time and resets everything and says, okay, you know what? It was better if history does it takes its course. Now, this means that the way life is set up right now is the way it is for us. And we can, of course, try to make things always better and better and better, but things work. Miraculously, as I said, we're all hanging by these threads, but they're working. They're working. We're living our lives for the better or for the worse. Now, as far as the fashion bunker is concerned, and Super Dacob here, I would like to say I'm really glad to be hanging on a thread in this lifetime with you guys together, because that's what makes this life of mine way more fun and happy, and just, I don't know, thrilling. I think it's fun. I'm considering more and more the fact that YouTube is seriously the best connection I've ever had to other people, really, because you reach a lot of people because of the internet, and the right people are the people that stick to you and that respond to what you have to say. And then you kind of build up the community, and that is a beautiful thing. And so thank you so much for, giving me your time and listening to all this sometimes funny, sometimes serious, sometimes crazy shit I say. But and thank you so much for the comments, because if it weren't for the comments, there would be no me. This is like, let's get that very straight and clear. So thank you so much for watching. And oh yeah, one last thing. This week, 2 people recognized me on the street. Actually 3. Well, it was a group of 2 and then 1. And that was really cute. Sometimes it happens, I notice, but you don't want to really approach me because you're scared. I'm not going to bite you. Don't worry, I don't bite. You can't come and say hi. It's okay. And it was so funny because so you know who you are because you're watching me. So thank you so much for stopping by and saying, hey, are you Super Dacob from YouTube? And I'm like, yes, I'm Super Dacob from YouTube. You have found me. So maybe I should it should be like catch the Dacob. If you find the Dacob, you get a cookie or something. I don't know. But it was really hilarious because people are like not really sure. Is it you or is it not you? Thank God they recognize me. I don't look much different in real life than I do with all these lights. Maybe I'm a little bit less pale in real life because kind of these lights tend to kind of wash me out a little bit. But I'm thrilled to be able to talk to people that actually share my own interests, because I've noticed whoever has taught me till now it happened twice in 1 week, but in the past it has happened also. I haven't been talking about it though that much. It's very fascinating to see what type of person recognizes me and starts talking to me. It's always somebody who's either interested into fashion, into art, into culture, and so we immediately just bam, get it along. We immediately have topics to talk about. And to me, that's the best thing in the world because you immediately have the feeling, wow, there's a connection. There's no need to break the ice. You know what I mean? It's like immediate exchange of information happens. And at that point, immediate growth happens because the second I start learning something or, exchanging information with you guys, I learn from you. And to me, that's the best in the world. So thank you so much for telling me hi on the street or wherever we met. And let's keep growing together. I love you all so much. Leave me comments in the comment section down below as always. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And don't forget, guys, no matter what thread we're hanging on or to, never give up on love. Love ya. Bye.